Hey YouTube, Alex here, and in today's video I want to share my first impressions of Da Nang, Vietnam with you. This video won't cover Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City as I have yet to visit those cities. I'm more of a medium-sized city kind of guy. The first thing I'm really liking about Da Nang is the wide sidewalks. If you can tell, the sidewalks are wide, you've got plenty of space to walk. People do ride a bit on the sidewalk. I don't think it's to the same extent that I've heard about like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Coming here from Thailand, it is a change of pace to see that there aren't tons of 7-Elevens everywhere. I also really like these nice crosswalks. They're really wide, they're clearly marked. While you don't see them on this immediate block, I have noticed that they do have some of those signals where it will give you a sign and you can walk across. I do feel like the city is walkable. Being a pedestrian here, you're able to get around pretty easily. It's not going to be as convenient as if you have a bike, but it's still quite nice. It's wonderful to be able to just walk around and explore the city on foot. It's a change of pace coming from Bangkok because Bangkok is such a mega city. Of course, you're going to have a little bit less personal space there. Prices are going to be a bit higher. It's going to be a bit noisier just with population density. And so these are some of the things that I really appreciate about being here in Da Nang. If I were in Ho Chi Minh City or I was in Hanoi, I might not notice some of these things. If you're coming from a really big city and you want a slower pace, more laid back vibe, Da Nang has a lot to offer for you. You have a city vibe, you have the urban environment, the conveniences of being in a city, and yet you're also by the beach. And so you can walk along the beach. I see people walking up and down the beach all day. There's a lot of water activities. And so I think some people really get a kick out of going out and surfing and then going back, showering, cleaning up, and then going out to a nice dinner or maybe going out to a bar, or I'm not sure if they have a movie theater here, but having that mix of both worlds. There is some hiking here, so maybe you could even go as far as to say some of that California vibe where people really like that they can go surfing in the morning and skiing in the afternoon or vice versa. You do have a lot in a limited geographical area here. I'm going to start heading to Vincom Plaza because I would like to check out the local shopping mall and get a sense of what that has to offer. I know a lot of people are concerned about cost of living. Vietnam is definitely a bit cheaper than Thailand. Rent, food, and transportation, I've noticed, are all a bit less. My studio apartment here in Da Nang, a few blocks from the beach, I'm paying about 5.5 million Vietnamese dong per month, about $214. I will try to update later on electric and water, what that comes out to be with my usage. I had a fairly simple banh mi and a blueberry smoothie that ran me about 80K dong, so roughly about $3, a little over $3. Compare that to San Francisco, where a banh mi is anywhere from $6 to $8 and up, and a smoothie is going to be easily 10 bucks. How about the noise? Well, I have mixed feelings about the noise. On one hand, it's not as bad as what it was made out to be to me. On the other hand, Vietnam is a developing country. That quite literally means that it's being built. So I do apologize for the background noise, but it is somewhat inevitable in a country where they are actually building things. They're building new buildings everywhere. People are starting new businesses, testing out different ideas, compared to the US where they don't have much new development. Except for luxury condos, you don't really see anything getting built. Here you see a Korean establishment. It's very popular for people from South Korea to come here to Da Nang. You also see a number of Russian tourists here. I would advise you to be cautious about the heat. With the breeze, it's deceptive. It does feel hotter than I would have thought during the course of the heat of the day. You can orient your schedule toward going out in the evening. I think a lot of local people and more long-term stayers do that. They're kind of chilling inside during the day and then go out more at nighttime, and they're enjoying the sun being down. They still have the nice ocean breeze. They're not cooking in the heat. The city's also a little bit more spread out than I would have thought. Like I said, it's pedestrian friendly, but you're going to probably want some other form of transportation unless you're really patient or need exercise like me and want to take some time to walk. Looks like we made it to Vincom Plaza. Even though Da Nang does appear to be more pedestrian friendly, I don't see tons of pedestrians walking around, probably due to the heat. I did notice that the crosswalk was not at a timer and it did swap over pretty quick. So if you are in a crosswalk, especially a lengthy one, you'll want to cross it with some expedience because people have stuff to do. Okay, that cool air is super refreshing. You gotta come to the mall if you're here in Da Nang, especially during the day. Here's a VinFast shop. You're not gonna need one of these as a traveler, but it is kind of cool to see. Thought about stopping in Winmart to get a cold beverage. I think I'm gonna check out the food court first. They might have something a little bit different from what Winmart has to offer. There's a Jollibee, which is always a pleasant sight. You gotta smile when you see that face. It is different from Thailand in that I don't see the kind of the small food court type option. They're all more chains or more established places. So I'll probably head back down to Winmart to get a cold beverage. Very cool. So they have this hot pot with the conveyor belts, and you just pull what you want and cook it up. It looks like they do have a movie theater. Yeah, it looks like they've got Minions and some kind of tornado movie there. Okay, I've never seen this before. Apples, refrigerated apples. Look at that beautiful bread. Compared to Bangkok, it may be a little underwhelming to come here to Vincom Plaza. That being said, if you did an apples to apples comparison, I'm sure there are plenty of nice mega malls in Ho Chi Minh City and in Hanoi. A more fair comparison as far as Vincom goes would be to like a Maya Mall in Chiang Mai. Now, are people friendly here in Vietnam? As far as the service industry goes, I have found people to be very friendly here in Vietnam. Now, outside of the context of service situations, I do get the sense that people are a bit more ambivalent here compared to some of the surrounding countries. Now, it may be the case that in Thailand, there's some social pressure to be nicer to tourists because tourism is 20% of the Thai economy. I do think there is interest to increase the tourism here in Vietnam, and I'm curious to see what kind of changes that will bring in the coming years. Don't expect the over-the-top friendliness you might become accustomed to in countries like Thailand or the Philippines. Overall, I'd say this isn't the optimal choice for your first country in Southeast Asia. It's going to take a bit more digging to find what you want to do, what you want to see, what you want to eat. Not everyone here speaks English. I'd say the younger generations are better at it, but it's going to take more work than some of the surrounding countries. It's not to say I don't like it. I actually am enjoying Vietnam a whole lot, but I've also been to most of the countries in region, and it's not as much of a stretch to come to Vietnam from Thailand or from the Philippines or from Cambodia. Would I live here? Probably not, due to the visa situation. It's just not clear to me as to how a person could stay here long term following the rules. I'm just the type that I like to follow the rules, and if there's not a clear path for me to do so, that I wouldn't consider living in that place. The food is really good here. I've been having some great banh mi and then trying some of the different coffees that they have here. I just had my first coffee in several months. I'm feeling wide awake. The night scenes here are a lot of fun. You have this place here where people are enjoying sugarcane juice. Yeah, certainly a cool scene here. The sugarcane juice is like 10,000 dong, about like 40 cents for this cup full. I finished mine. It's really tasty. But yeah, it's a chill space. I'm not really much of a drinker, so having this kind of experience is really nice for me. I do wish they had something like this in Thailand. This kind of like, I wouldn't call it a smoothie bar, but if they were serving smoothies here, it would be a smoothie bar. Just something to do where you're not having to drink, but you can still be out and enjoy the night scene. I like it too because you can see, it's a little bit far, but you can see the vehicles drive by. You can do some people watching. I definitely see a lot of people from the local community here enjoying this environment, and some people are playing cards, some people are playing on their phones. It's a nice space to enjoy yourself. It's a third space, something that we really don't have as much of these days in the West. Now, how is dating here in Vietnam? Well, I would say in Da Nang, it's not that great. You're better off going to a Hanoi or a Ho Chi Minh City. I do think that just based on numbers, you're not going to have as much success here. I don't think that there's anything wrong with Da Nang. I just think that if you're talking about dating, it being in some ways a numbers game, you're just going to have more options in a bigger city. This seems to be more of a city for couples than it does for people looking for relationships. Also, be mindful if you match with a woman on a dating app here. If she's saying, hey, meet me at this bar, chances are she actually works for that bar. She's not really interested in you. She just wants you to come and buy overpriced drinks. They may even tell you, hey, look, we're gonna hang out. What time do you wanna hang out? When that hour rolls around, then it's, oh yeah, just come on down to the bar and hang out, where they're gonna be pushing expensive, overpriced drinks on you. The nightlife culture, at least here in Da Nang, is a little bit more muted. Now, how is exercise here in Da Nang? I think it's a city with a ton of great opportunities. I'm gonna go ahead and ride back to my apartment. There's actually gyms all over the city. And in fact, there's one across the street from my apartment. I'm borrowing this one from my host. So you can tell there are quite a few nice places to work out here in Da Nang. I've shown you a couple, one public, one paid, and you can also look at riding a bicycle for exercise too. So I hope this has given you a taste of my first impressions of Da Nang, Vietnam. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you have plans to come here to Da Nang at some point? Have you been here? Does it interest you? Give us a thumbs up if this content was helpful to you. And finally, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Until next time.